When I'm sitting on the start line, waiting for the signal, it used to be absolute terror, just thinking, why am I doing this? Your heart is racing, you're just trying to remember everything you got to do. And then the flag waves, and that's it. There's no time to think about anything anymore. You just drive. My name's Joel, and I'm going to take you behind the scenes of historic motor racing at the Algarve Classic Motor Racing Festival. We are in Portimao in Portugal on the Algarve coast, absolutely gorgeous, and we're here at the Portimao circuit, which is one of the best motor racing tracks in the world for this year's Algarve Classic Motor Racing Festival. I mean, this is one of the best events in the calendar. It's a great track, it's great weather, it's a hugely exciting mix of cars, and the Portuguese are just really chill, nice people to race with. I love 60s cars because I love the way they look, I love the way they sound. They're proper mechanical things. What a happy, optimistic time it was. I think that goes for music, for other types of culture, and certainly for cars. I mean, the cars are the most beautiful. To make a historic car go fast, it's completely down to you. There's no computers, there's no electronics. They're so raw and analog. It's just 3 pedals, a steering wheel and a gear stick. I'm pretty new to racing. I started last year, so this is just my second season of doing it. I'm co-driving with my coach, Nigel Greensall, who's one of the top pro drivers in motor racing. He races anything and everything, and he's extremely quick.
I race a whole variety of modern and historic cars, and then I also coach drivers, taking people from complete novices all the way through to the Le Mans 24 hours and beyond.
Nigel is helping me to drag a reasonable lap time out of me.
He's doing very well indeed.
It's like entering a football competition with Eric Cantona or something. I can't quite believe I'm doing it. I'm here to see if I can improve on lap times, improve on my previous placings, and just do as well as we can do. The great thing about racing is that even if you're not on the podium, even if you're finishing like 6th, 7th, 8th, if that's better than you've done before, then you're competing against yourself, aren't you? You're kind of getting better and better.
I like to get to know the individual, helping them develop the feel in terms of each individual car they drive. You can drive around a circuit perfectly smooth, but you'll be very slow. So for me, I like to teach people how to drive on the limit, but in safety. You're constantly sliding and drifting the car, but absolutely on the limit.
So the cars get transported here in these enormous trucks, beautifully complicated things that can squeeze lots and lots of racing cars inside. They get unloaded straight into the pit garage. And these are the pit garages which run in a line all the way down the pits. Everything comes in here. But basically, this is your zone. Everything is in a line. This is our garage. And then this is the pit lane. This year we've brought 2 cars to Portugal. We've brought one sports racer, and we brought what's called a GT car, which is based on a road car. We brought a Lotus Elan 26R, which is from 1964. And we brought a Chevron B8 from 1968.
The one car we're racing is the Lotus Elan 26R. This was built by Lotus in the 60s. It's a very famous car, both for racing and also driving on the road. Very light, very nimble, has a 4-speed gearbox, very narrow treaded tyres, but a lot of fun to drive.
It's a racing car made from a Lotus Elan. So what are the differences? It's lower, bigger brakes. The brakes are actually from the Lotus Type 21 Formula 1 car. A very highly tuned version of the 1.6 Ford Lotus twin cam puts out about 190 horsepower from 1.6 litres. That's the chassis under there, down the centre of the car. Being a racing car, it's got to be safe, so we put this great big roll cage in it. Bodywork is fiberglass, just like a normal Elan. The windows are plexiglass, so they're very light, completely stripped out interior. Everything is removed. The other thing that you'll notice in all race cars is they have these symbols here. This one cuts the electrical system so there's no sparks. This is the fire extinguisher if things get a bit warm. So they're on the outside and the inside. The fire extinguisher system, so when you press that button, that thing goes off, makes a great big mess and hopefully puts any fire out. This is a data logger, it does all your timing. You see this seat? Basically just one little thin piece of carbon. You're belted in very, very tightly so you can feel what the car is doing. The thing I love about race cars is that they always have all these random higgledy-piggledy switches with sort of hand-done labels on them. Because when you're racing, you've got to be able to find the thing that you want to do really quickly and really easily. So you just need a great big label saying fan or whatever it is. The other car I have is a Chevron B8, something you would only ever see on a racetrack. They just look completely different from a road car.
This is a pure racing car. So this was built by another English company, Chevron. That's got a 2-litre BMW engine. It's got much wider tyres. It's also got a 5-speed gearbox, so you're using different gears at different corners, and it laps considerably quicker than the Lotus Elan.
They're so much lower. It's mid-engined. The driver is really sitting so low down that when you drive this car, you feel like you're wearing it almost. This is one of our garage mates today. And look how low it is. And this is what the sports racers give you that you don't get with the so-called GT cars that are based on road cars. This allows the designers to put the centre of gravity much lower, which is much better for handling. It allows them to make the weight lighter, and everything is just much more high performance, no compromises. If you love driving and love driving fast, one of the great pleasures is making a car dance. By which I mean the car is slightly sliding, particularly a rear-wheel drive car. And to get the car going really fast through the corner, it has to be ever so slightly out of control. So it's this balancing act, like surfing. Surfing is sort of a controlled falling, isn't it? It's a bit like that. Really, your bum is telling you what the back axle is doing, and your hands are telling you what the front axle is doing. The back of the car wants to overtake the front of the car, but you're going to stop that happening by counter-steering into it. And if you can do that in a successful way, at very high speed, it's just the most wonderful feeling. Going racing is never cheap. Everything, as you can see, involves a huge effort of mechanics and preparers and administration and logistics, which is absolutely massive, which is where all the costs come from. There's an awful lot of passion that goes into it and craftsmanship, and you meet people with these incredible skills, which you'll see every time you walk around the garage and watch these cars being fixed up in real time and fixed in time for the race. It's completely amazing. As with everything in racing, everything that you wear is all reassuringly expensive. It's fireproof for obvious reasons. So your socks, race suit, underwear, everything is made of this stuff called Nomex, which has the magical properties of not burning in a fire and costing 5 times what's reasonable. The drivers tend to be overwhelmingly men, although there are some women drivers who compete very successfully. They tend to be a bit older, partly because you need quite a lot of money to do this, and because I think a lot of people do it for nostalgic. I mean, I certainly do. They kind of want to race the cars that they watched racing when they were kids. You meet all sorts of different people. There's a lot of father and son teams that are running their own cars. They do everything themselves, and I think that's really cool. I think there are 2 types of dads. Ones that say, you know, you're going to join me and do what I do, and ones that sort of say, you've got to be your own person, and if you're not interested, you're not interested. And my dad was very much like that, hence my terrible guitar playing. My dad was a musician, that was his thing.
Bas, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
I'm very conscious that almost everyone you meet in this world has been driving cars on track really fast since they were about 10, it seems to me. And I'm not like that. I wouldn't say I feel like an outsider, but there's so much talent around. So I just feel I'm kind of working really, really hard to be competitive. It's not easy, but I guess that's why it's rewarding. I just love wandering up and down the paddock and seeing all these amazing variety of race cars that people bring. This is a classic BMW 3 Series E21, lovely shape. You can see it's got the extra wide bodywork, really cool car. I'm in my element here. Mark 1 Golf GTI. This is a BMW 2002. It's got the same engine as my Chevron. This is a very famous car, Ford GT40. Porsche 911 RSR. This is a Merlin, which is one of those tiny little English racing car companies from the 60s that you've probably not heard of, along with Lenham and maybe Chevron. That's a Lola T70. That's one of the real big brute sports racers, probably 160 miles an hour plus before turn 1. Also gorgeous looking. Jaguar E-Type, Ford Mustang, 2 Mustangs, big solid fuel tank in the boot, the blue and the red anodized fittings so that the engineers know exactly what's carrying what when they're working on the car. It's front engine, but it's front mid-engine. Look where the centre of the axle is, look where the engine is. Look at that windscreen, it's like a fighter jet. There's always another car that you think, maybe I need one of those. Everything is categorised and classified in this enormous, complicated system to make sure that every race has got the right cars competing against each other. So for example, if I said to you, I've got a sports car, you might think I've got a Porsche or something. In the world of racing, if you say sports car, that means a car that's never been a road car, purpose-built for racing. So you get all these weird things you have to try and understand. We're here for 3 days. We're doing 3 different races: Historic Endurance, GT Sports Car Cup, and Algarve Sports Cars. I suppose most people are going to be used to seeing races start like Formula One with a standing start, but most of the races here this weekend use a rolling start, which is where the cars form up on the grid. They do what's called a green flag lap, no overtaking, stay in formation, following a safety car. The safety car peels off. As you come around the final corner, the red lights go off and you're racing. The craft is in getting yourself positioned in the right space to accelerate as fast as possible into the gap as soon as you cross that line. Every race that we do is 2-driver race with pit stops. You must stop for a minimum of 60 seconds. That gives you time to change drivers. You basically come into the pits, get yourself out of the car as quickly as you can with some dignity, and the other driver gets in, gets strapped up, they wipe the windscreen, they check the tyre pressures, and off you go.
It's brilliant fun. The fact that there's just no time for anything. Just got to do it.
Unlike in a Formula One race, in a classic car, you can't change 4 wheels in 3 seconds. It doesn't work like that. And you see the guys in Formula One go and just grab the wheel off. That's because there's only 1 nut. We've got 4. The historic racing that we do, we don't have radios. So the only way to communicate between the mechanics and the driver is from the pit wall to the driver. So you have a board. It's usually the position that you are and time left, maybe lap time as well. Whatever we agree is the most relevant information to show. They hang this board out of the pit straight, which is the fastest part of the circuit usually, and you're going along at 135 miles an hour or whatever it is, trying not to kill yourself, and you're supposed to look out the window and read this message. For the first few races I did, I couldn't see it at all, so I had to say to them, look, if it really is important, can you just wave the board so that I know to come in?
Okay, Joel.
This thing, what a car. Today is the first day of a 3-day event, qualifying sessions. Yesterday was an optional practice day. We came to that as well because we're not local, so we need all the track time we can get on Portimao circuit, and obviously it's a pleasure to do that as well since we've brought the cars all the way here.
We were testing all day yesterday and everything's looking good so far. I now have until 5:30 to give the car a complete once-over. You just need to look at everything. Nothing's broken, everything is as it should be. There's a lot that goes on.
With the Chevron in qualifying, I did a 2-minute flat lap time. With the Lotus Elan, we're about 10 seconds slower than that, but working just as hard to do the lap time.
Just finished a qualifying session with the fastest Elan, so I was really chuffed with that. We sit down with the mechanics, have a bit of a debrief. They want to know how the car felt to drive. We talk about whether there's anything that needs changing. In this instance, on the Chevron, you can take the gearbox apart and put different gear ratios in. The second gear is a little bit too long. On the slow corners here, when we change down and we turn in and we accelerate, the car has not got enough revs to pull cleanly, so we're going to need to put shorter second gear in. We discuss all that kind of stuff, pit stop strategy, who's doing what, and just get clear on the plan for the race. So tomorrow is when the action really starts. Nothing's broken, nothing's fallen off, everybody's happy, getting very close to time for a beer. How did you guys get on?
Yeah, good.
We're in the B8 next door.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Car was good. And
Do you know what? I really want to have a go in one of these.
yeah, great fun. This is the first time I've ever driven one.
It's the big day. We've got 3 races today. 2 races in the Lotus Elan. Then we've got a race in the Chevron B8 at the end of the day, and we've got a qualifying session in the Elan just before lunch. So we've got a really, really busy day. We qualified 11th out of 45 in the Elan for the race that we're about to do, which was just me driving, not Nigel. So that's one of my better efforts. I was incredibly excited, and then it started raining. So I'm feeling slightly anxious about that. Our first race this morning is historic endurance in the Lotus Elan, racing against a huge variety of really cool cars. 50-minute endurance race with 1 driver change.
If it is raining, mentally, what's my mindset when I get the car? Just looking to understand what grip is. Just keep an eye on the lap times, because you'll see from my lap times it's obviously very slippery.
Yeah. Track is soaking wet, which we hadn't planned for, so this is going to be interesting.
Carly, are there any changes we can make to the dampers for the wet?
Not quickly.
It'll have to be very quick then, yeah, because it's so wet out there. Joel, it is full wet, okay, so I'll be experimenting. Tim, we need to put wet settings on the dampers.
Forecast was for beautiful day, full sunshine, and it's now fully wet track, so we haven't had time to change anything on the car. We only have 1 type of tyres that we use anyway, so it's not about the tyres, but we would soften the suspension off to make the car grip better. We haven't been able to do any of that. Didn't even have Rain-X on the windscreen, which was a bit of a fail. But anyway, it is what it is. Nigel's starting the race. Hopefully he'll be able to do something good, but also in these conditions, I wouldn't be surprised if there's incidents, maybe safety car or yellow flags. So any lead that he does build up, his safety car would neutralise that because everyone gets in a big line and goes round. So it's going to be interesting. Now I see a red flag behind us, so I'm not sure what's happening. That always means stop. Whatever's supposed to be happening is not happening. It might mean that someone's crashed on the formation lap and they need to clear that car, and then they're going to do another formation lap to start the race.
They're trying to reform the back of the grid, because it was those guys that thought the race had started.
Right.
So they're trying to get them back in order. Super slippery when we just went round there.
Good luck. They're clearing the grid.
Okay. Everyone's in the same boat. We've all gone out there on a dry morning and now racing in the wet. You just have to drive what's underneath you, and that's the real skill of it, I suppose. Few rules of thumb, which is if it's fully wet track, you drive a different line on the racetrack. You don't take the apex of the corner necessarily. You might drive all the way around the outside because there's more grip there. Stay off the painted curbs, which usually you're allowed to use because they're like glass, because they're totally wet. You know, braking distance is obviously longer. Right. Start turning your mind to what would be needed to put Avons on the B8 if it's going to piss with rain. Nigel's going to come in for the pit stop, and then it's my turn to drive in the wet conditions. Yeah, full of confidence, can't you tell?
What we discovered with the tyres that were on, we just had no grip at all, so it was just like driving on ice.
Very slippery.
Give the windows a bit more, Charlie. 25 seconds.
Battery.
The car didn't want to start at the pit stop. The battery was clearly low.
Go. Bump start.
Jam a jump pack on it and then start it up and off you go. I'm not going to pretend that I was on course to do anything brilliant. It was slippery as hell. Span a couple of times and I was sliding around like Bambi on ice. Nothing I could do, and that is a horrible, horrible feeling. You kind of come to grips with that, and as long as the car's working, you keep going and anything can happen. There's a light which I think is the alternator. So you're starting off with a very low battery, and I don't think it was charging properly, and then every time I tried to use full power, it just died. And eventually I just had to stop it in a safety area, and that was the end of my race, unfortunately. Awful. Pretty disappointing. Was it something preventable? Maybe my camera put a drain on the battery. Obviously we had a low battery in pit stop, and I got a red light on the rev counter, the car died, but we sat on the grid for about 10 minutes with the V-box and the camera on. That camera sucks power. That's my hunch anyway, but I guess the alternator's easy to test. We've got 20 minutes now to figure out what's wrong with the car, fix it, strap me back in, hopefully in a slightly better frame of mind than going qualifying for GT Sports Car Cup. Tim, should I just show you where this red light was? Yeah. That one. The red triangle next to the 4. Low power, basically, yeah.
We had an alternator problem, so the battery was progressively going flat during the race, and obviously having to use the wipers and have the lights on and the heated screen. Eventually the battery then just died because it just ran out of charge.
You know, the most depressing thing about that whole experience was I was the fastest Elan in qualifying.
You can just never tell what sort of race you're going to get.
No.
And that's the excitement of it. And the important bit is not to get down with moments like that. You'll always lose more races than you win, even if you're Max Verstappen.
Yeah, so, and the track is drying out. Nigel's taken the car out to do 3 or 4 laps, check what's what. Hopefully all will be well, and then he'll be handing over to me.
The car is all fine. Go and have a lot of fun.
We're back in the running. The handling is fine because the track's dry now. The car seems to be working. We changed the alternator.
Very happy with the way qualifying went. So we've ended up the fastest of the Lotus Elans for tomorrow's 2-hour race.
And we're hopefully in good shape for this afternoon's race, a repeat of this morning's race. We're in the assembly area for the second historic endurance race with the Elan. As a reminder, we qualified 11th for the first one, but we didn't finish because of a battery problem. Well, it turns out that the grid for the second race is determined by where you finish in the first race. So we're starting this race at the back of 45 cars. I'm going to put a positive spin on that. It's going to be huge fun, hopefully getting past lots of cars that I know that I'm quicker than. Hand it over to Nigel to finish the job. Thanks, Charlie.
steering wheel.
That was great, yeah. Managed to make up quite a few places in the first few laps, and then the further up the field you go, the more of a scrap it is. I had a lovely fight with a Mustang at the end there. Came in 14th place. I think we started near the back of 40 car grid, so over to Nigel.
Start from the back of the pack in the second race and race through the pack to finish 9th. That was great fun.
So that's the last race of the Elan today. Now I've got to go and get in the Chevron, which we're racing next in the last race of the day.
We've got the Chevron B8 sports car race, which is the top of the bill today, so that's the last race into the evening, into dusk. This race is over twice as long. Previous races have been 50 minutes with one driver change halfway through. This is 2 hours with 2 driver changes and a refueling stop. So a proper endurance race. If we get in the top 10, that'd be great. We'll see. Nigel's big thing is about being relaxed in the car, and also little details like not having bits of lace flapping about your shoe that can get caught on a pedal, which happened to me in the middle of a race, and suddenly you go for the brake and you realise that your shoe is tied to the accelerator. We've had quite a lot of track time. My muscle memory and my experience of driving the car is good. I know exactly what I need to do, but as you get nearer and nearer the actual race start, the anxiety just builds and builds. But I guess the trick is to try and enjoy that. Like when I was training people in public speaking, I always used to say to them that the anxiety you're feeling and the nerves is because you care, and that's a good thing. It's happening, there's nothing you can do about it. You're there for a reason, just try and enjoy it. I thought I got a fairly decent rolling start, but I had a Lola T70 Spider next to me. As we came down into turn 1, I got pushed a little bit wide, so I had to run slightly off the track, which meant that the white Chevron B8 could come past me. That's the same car that I've got, so I've lost a place there. But it's a 2-hour race, I wasn't too worried. Get the first lap under your belt without any dramas or incidents, and then can start to think about hunting him down. I had some great battles with the white B8. I caught him back up, passed him into the hairpin. He passed me back. We swapped places a few times, but I started to feel I had the measure of him. I settled into a decent rhythm. The car was feeling great. Finally got the hang of the Avon tyres, which are much stickier than the Dunlops that we usually use on this car. As I came round the final turn of the lap, 2 of the leaders came and overtook me. The Lola T70s with the big V8s, so their straight line speed is massive. Coming down into turn one, I could see ahead of me the white B8 and the red B16 having a bit of a battle. And when you're fighting another car, you're never driving as fast as if you're clean lapping. So I thought, let's try and catch up to them and see if I can attack them. Got the car nicely up on its toes, sliding around a bit. Any racing driver will tell you that when you see your competitor up ahead in the distance, you always find another 5%. Third last corner on the circuit, the white B8 slid a little bit, so I could close up. I definitely feel I've got more pace than both of these cars. It's just a question of finding the right place to pass them. Last corner on the track, turn in and balance throttle as fast as you dare and try and get a decent exit. So as we start the new lap, I'm right up behind the B16 and the B8. Their two-way fight has now got me in it as well. And I thought, how can I try and get past these guys? The red car at times didn't leave me a huge amount of room, but it's a fairly good clean fight, I think. I'm a lot more comfortable than I was a year ago at other cars in close proximity and keeping my speed up rather than just backing out because it feels like you're about to have an accident. At the end of the day, if you want to get past him, you've got to get close to him. As we came round to the end of that lap, I was tucked up right behind the white B8 and I got a better exit out of turn 14 than he did. So I come past him on the main straight. Into top gear, quick glance to my left, see if he's still there. Yeah, he's still there. In fact, he's got a bit more top end power than me, it seems. At that point, I was at 8,000 revs in top gear, it's about 135 miles an hour. Changed down 2 gears. He's outbraked himself slightly. He ran a little bit wide. So I can nip past on the entrance to turn 3. And then it was just a case of could I stay ahead of him into the next couple of corners. So then I found myself up behind the red B16 and feeling pretty confident that I was quicker than him. As we approach the end of the lap, I can already see the back marker Porsche 911, and I'm thinking about how the red car is going to negotiate going around him, and can I use that as an opportunity to gain some time on him, maybe go the other way around the car. I finally got past him on the final corner of the lap. He might have got stuck behind that back marker. But actually, I think he was pitting.
Intense. Apparently the lap times are okay, 3 seconds quicker than yesterday. That car is just so much faster, so much more intense than the Elan. When you get it up on its toes, you're sort of slightly out of control all the time. It's just completely exhilarating. The back of the car slides and you correct the slide, but you come out pointing the right way and then you take off like a rocket. I mean, it's just the most satisfying thing to do in a car.
When I first started racing, it just felt like being in a constantly unfolding car crash. And then as you get more experience, you become more comfortable with driving at very high speed within, like, let's say, a foot of another car. You might even be sliding your car around a corner with someone else doing the same thing right next to you.
Yeah, we've all seen it on the Formula One, haven't we? The first 3 cars get to park in the special parking places. We were 3rd overall and 1st in class. I'm thrilled, obviously. Nigel says it's a great result.
That's remarkable, isn't it? Yeah.
3 overall.
Fantastic! Wow, what a result, eh?
Amazing, well done.
Fantastic!
Fabulous end to the day. We're going to get trophies. I've had a podium before. This is the first one driving with Nigel. So pleased for all the mechanics that have prepared the car so well and worked really hard today. And it all worked out. So it's a complete team game. It's everybody's victory.
Time for the photo shoot and for the champagne celebration.
Is that
Well
what you
done.
ordered? Congratulations.
I just can't quite believe it. We had absolute disaster in the first race, broke down, didn't finish, and then we go and do a really strong performance in the historic endurance race and then come 3rd overall in the sports car race and 1st in class. It's just amazing. Thanks, Luke. I'm just waiting for someone to come along and offer me a professional racing driver contract. They're probably trying to find me. Welcome to day 3, the last day. We've got one more race to go, which is a 2-hour endurance race called GT and Sports Car Cup, which is a really, really fun, friendly race. Great group of people. I did it last year. And a really cool mix of cars. There's going to be a few pit stops. There's quite a bit of strategy to this race. When you come into the pits, obviously you lose a load of time, but the relative damage to your race is massively lessened when the safety car is out. So the rule is you always pit when there's a safety car, if you can. We have to make a decision on what setup to go for, wet or dry, because it's rained overnight and the track is currently wet, but if it doesn't rain again, it will be damp. But it's just all part of the fun of setting up the race. After yesterday ended on such a high, I just feel amazing. And physically, I feel slightly tired. I've just got to put all that to one side for the next 2 hours. I should have gone to the loo. There's nothing worse than that. Good luck.
Joel, remember it's a 2-hour race, so don't rush in. Just totally relax, really calm. You've got to look at the track surface. That's the most important job you've got on this round to the grid.
I just know how this is going to pan out. He's going to end up doing about 18 minutes.
Let you do the rest.
He's going to let me do the rest.
We've qualified 4th on the grid out of about 40 cars, so it's going to be an eventful race. The track was incredibly greasy and slippery, very, very hard to find any grip. Also very hard to judge how fast you should be going through corners without spinning and crashing. So lost quite a few places in the early phase of other drivers who were just, even if their cars weren't as fast as yours, that doesn't matter. If they can drive better, they can judge the grip better, then they're coming past. was nice is as the track dried out, I gained in confidence, started to go faster, lap time started dropping, and then I basically made most of those places back.
I come into the pits, that's the end of my stint. Nice clean pit stop, jump out of the car, Nigel gets in and heads out for his stint. Unfortunately, it appeared that the passenger door wasn't shut properly, which meant that every time he turned right, the door flew open. I'd say that's fairly high up the list of things you don't want to happen, but Nigel handled it like a true pro. Luckily, with the Elan being so small, it reached across and shut it. That's dealt with that.
And we had a pit stop that was quite eventful. Nigel came in ever so slightly early, and then the door fell off.
That's not good.
Charlie went to close the door and it just fell off in his hand. So we had to get that resolved. Shoved it back into place, gave it a kick. Apparently Elan doors do sometimes fall off. Well, I didn't know that. I mean, it is an old car. Final stint was good. I actually rejoined in safety car at the back of a large queue of traffic. I then had a lot of fun, going through the pack again and passing lots of cars. And then at the end, I was getting a bit tired and made a couple of mistakes. So I was sick for a long time, but ended up finishing 7th, but really happy with that. And we were the fastest Elan by some way, so happy with that as well.
It's been a great weekend. Every time I come racing, at my level, just getting into the sport, really all I want is to feel that I'm improving every time.
I always find it very exciting to see how somebody progresses. Most people have got a huge amount of talent that they don't realise, and it's for me to unlock that and see the smile on the faces. It's just wonderful.
And to get on the podium in the sports car race, racing against all those amazing, beautiful cars, it made it a weekend I'll never forget.
It's a very exciting time right now for Joel because he's just started on the motor racing adventure and who knows where it'll lead to. Exciting times ahead.
I've seen a few spins, had a few, but the racing here has been really fair and clean. This is an event that I think everybody should come to. I mean, the people that go racing are friendly wherever you go, but the organisers really make it here. You can be standing in the pit lane and some mega car rumbles past making some outrageous noise and you just can catch someone's eye and just grin. And how wonderful it is that these machines still exist and that we still have the people who have the skills and the engineering knowledge and the craftsmanship to keep them going and keep them thriving and keep them racing. We will definitely be back next year. The only question is with the same cars or more cars.